Okay, so in order to graph a quadrilateral, we have to use previous knowledge and determine which one we have. We have trapezoid, kite, rhombus, square, rectangle, parallelogram. So, step 1 says to graph the points. Well, here are our points. We have A at 0, 2, so we go 0, and then 1, 2, so there's A. We have B at 2, 4, so we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have C at 4, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And we have D at 2, 0. Okay, so there are my 4 points. Now, I have to start by finding the distance between each. Okay, so we're going to do the distance formula several times because we have 4 distances we need to find. So let's start with distance AB, which is equal to the square root of y2. Since b is my second point, I'm going to use that. So 4 minus 2 squared plus b was 2 minus 0 squared. So I get 2 squared plus 2 squared, which is the square root of 8. Okay, because I end up with, do it this way, we end up with 2 squared plus 2 squared, which is the square root of 8, which is 2 square root of 2, when we simplify. Okay, which we learned last class. Okay, now I'm going to do B to C. So we have C, which is 2 minus 4 squared plus 4 minus 2 squared. We end up with the square root of negative 2 squared plus 2 squared, which is the square root of 8, which again is 2 square root of 2. Okay? So far, A, B, and B, C are the same. So now we do C to D, which is the square root of 0 minus 2 squared plus 2 minus 4 squared, square root of negative 2 squared plus negative 2 squared, or the square root of 8, which is the square root 2 root 2. Okay, so far 3 of our sides are all the same. Then we have D to A, which is the square root of 2 minus 0 squared plus 0 minus 2 squared. We get 2 squared plus negative 2 squared, so square root of 8, which is 2 root 2. So all 4 of our sides are the same, which means that we could have a square or a rhombus at this point as our 2 specific ones. It could be a rectangle still, it could be a parallelogram, it could be a quadrilateral, okay? But since all sides are congruent, we've narrowed it down to a square or a rhombus. Now, in order for it to be a square, I have to have perpendicular slopes, which means my slope AD okay, it means like my slope from my AB slope needs to be perpendicular to AD. And if we remember with perpendicular slopes tell us if there is 90 degrees. Okay? But they also are the opposite reciprocal. Okay? So if the slopes are the opposite reciprocal of each other, then I have a 90-degree angle. If they're the same, that means they're parallel. Okay? So let's go find the slope of a segment AB. So remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have AB here. So we have 4 minus 2 over 2 minus 0, which is equal to 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. Okay, pretty basic slope. Then we have BC. Okay, so BC is, or no, sorry. Yeah, BC. Okay, BC is 2 minus 4 over 4 minus 2, which is equal to negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. Okay. Then we have CD, which is equal to 0 minus 2 over 2 minus 4, which is equal to negative 2 over negative 2, which is 1. Then we have DA, which is equal to 2 minus 0 over 0 minus 2, which is equal to negative 1. Okay? So notice AB and CD have the same slope. So they're parallel. Okay? Notice BC and DA have the same slope. So they're parallel. Okay? So we're still looking really good for a rhombus or square because remember, both rhombus and square, opposite sides have to be parallel. Okay? So the next part is we look at AB and BC corner. So this corner, AB, BC, and we see that AB and BC have opposite reciprocal slopes, which means they're perpendicular. Then we could check BC to CD. BC to CD, also opposite reciprocal. CD and AD, opposite reciprocal. And AD and AB, opposite reciprocal. So I have 4 90-degree angles, opposite parallel, and all my sides. That is a square. And that is how you do these problems. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yes, we're graphing on coordinate plane, but we're using a lot of previous skills in order to solve. Okay? The next video will have this second example.